Welcome to Snowmobile Sessions Live on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms. It's the #1 destination to learn about snowmobiling, network with other sledders, and have an awesome time doing it. We'll meet other snowmobilers that share your passion and show your fan photos along the way. Snowmobile Sessions Live. Enjoy the ride.
This episode of Snowmobile Sessions Live and podcast is brought to you by Energy Power Sports. Energy Power Sports is Oakville's full-line BRP dealer with sales and service to all BRP models and so much more. Energy Power Sports always has the fun in store with a wide selection of clothing, parts, and accessories for all your power sports passions. Make Energy Power Sports your source for Can-Am off-road ATV and side-by-sides. Can-Am on-road Ryker and Spyder, including the sporty F3S. Sea-Doo watercraft and Switch pontoon boats. And Alumacraft fishing boats powered by Mercury Marine. Put yourself on a Manitou pontoon or a Widescape stand-up snowmobile. Energy Power Sports is the home for Lynx high-performance snowmobiles and Ski-Doo snowmobiles for the entire family. Do you feel the energy? Energy Power Sports, 879 Cranberry Court, Oakville, Ontario, or online at energypowersports.ca. How do you like that new intro, Dave?
I love it. I can't. Am I really on this show, or I don't know?
Hey, man, it's been things have changed since you've last been on. We've gone to the big time, man. And now you're co-host. You're promoted to co-host today.
Well, so. Yeah, I'm honored. It's snowing in the background. I love the guys at Energy Power Sport. I have one question for you. How much maple syrup did you drink before you started this podcast?
We got some tricks in store again, so just stay tuned. Future podcasts, but got some house cleaning to do before we introduce the guest. Well, we'll introduce him. He's in the top corner there. Adam Trainer from GRIZZLY Lodge, BC's backcountry snowmobile experience. That's cool. I should get you a little 1-minute intro like that, Adam.
What kind of intro are you looking for?
Yeah, well, I'll make it for you. You just send me some video clips.
Oh, perfect.
You know what I mean? And we'll make her happen. But anyway, just to get to some house cleaning here, we have a mountain madman. Woo! Yeah. Mark K sent me a super sticker. It says victory. It's got a hippopotamus with the 2 thumbs up. So I love that. Thank you, Mark K. That's $27.99 towards getting me out to the GRIZZLY Lodge.
Beauty.
How far can I get? Will I get airport parking for that, or
for a day or so?
You only have to get in. You just got to pay a little more to get out.
Oh, that's what it is it? Yeah. We got a full house here. We got Wisco Sledheads. What's up, fellas? His buddy was in the house first off. And they're going to co-host with me next week. Jay Masser, 850. He said he's got to be first at something. He couldn't wait till 6 o'clock. That was, I think he was in the house at like 5 o'clock waiting. Just Fly Low's in there. Corey Brock, of course, he's in there. He says, what's up, fellas? Renegade X is in there. Good evening, everyone. He sends 3 snowflakes. We got some snow coming down here. Do you think we'll start on time? And then someone said, woohoo, they did. Corey Jinx, Jinxie Boy's in the house. Uncle Buck, Jack Black, Jake. He says, hey, guys. Joe Caraco. He says, what's up, everyone? Nice intro, Gary, Uncle Buck says. John Miller says, how's it going, guy? Tim V, he's in there. William McCleary, hey, boys, snowing a little here. Snowstorm says, evening, Sledheads. It goes on. We got too many in there. I'll get to you later. So that's cool. So how's Dave? Let's start with Dave Norona, my co-host for tonight. What have you been up to lately, buddy?
Well, we actually got snow a week and a half ago, quite a bit actually. When I was in Saskatoon, and it's, everybody thought, okay, this is what happens here in BC. It starts dumping and everybody gets excited, which is we're waiting for it. And then it's on the coast, it cooled down and froze and went sunny. So we haven't got any more snow. We need a little bit more. It's good because people are out kind of skiing in the backcountry, and people are going out and breaking in their new sleds. Hopefully not breaking their new sleds, but I've been actually riding, still riding the e-bike, getting ready for winter, getting everything organized, hitting the shows. Prepping for Grizzly Lodge. We're the first group in. I'm proud to say that. And when I say me, I mean I belong to. I'm lucky to get to go with the boys from Greater Vancouver Power Sports, and we have the first weekend and usually the last weekend at Grizzly Lodge.
Nice.
If we don't break it, nobody will. And at the end of the season, anything that people didn't break, we will break it.
Yeah, well, you know what? I thought you'd be a perfect co-host because you are the Grizzly Lodge guy, I'll say. And on my bucket list is I want to be out there at Grizzly Lodge in that bar area with the snowmobile hanging and hoisting a beer with my good friend Dave Norona.
Well,
I think that would.
I'm sure we'll get to it in this show, the story of Grizzly Lodge and how I got to go there and why I love it so much. And we'll talk about that, I'm sure, during the show. But it should be a bucket list place on, not just a bucket list, because it's actually pretty easy to get there. But as I say to most people, I had a call from a good friend at Skidoo today. He goes, "Hey, I want to go to Chile. We wanted to do that for ages." And he's like head of design. And I said, "Look, you work hard enough. Take the trip, because if you don't take it now, you're never going to take it." So that's the message anyway tonight should be, hey, don't wait to get to Grizzly Lodge. Just get there.
Yeah. And you know what? I was kind of blown away at the show how affordable it is. You know what I mean? Like I talked to the boys at the show and I was like, and I picked up this little thing. It's just send me your mailing address. Like, back of them, I'll send them out for you if you're out here in the East, and I'll make sure you get one of these things. But we'll talk about the price and how you get out there and all the good stuff, right? We'll get to that.
Yep.
So tell us, Adam, a little bit about yourself, and tell us about the Grizzly Lodge.
Yeah. So I've been here nearly about 15 years now. My first ride in here was November. Actually, no, we came in the springtime. April 6th, 2007 was my first ride up here. And I came up with a bunch of guys just to have a look at the place. And it had been sitting empty for about 2 years at that point. So it was pretty rough shape. The doors were kicked in and animals had been in here and whatnot. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my gosh, who would ever want to take this on? Well, as time would have it, it was a couple years later in 2009 when I was able to work a deal with the guys that did buy it, and I bought them out and started the business as Grizzly Lodge as we kind of know it today. But it was a far cry from what everybody gets to experience now. That's for sure. First several years were a challenge, and Dave was here in some of the earlier years with when things weren't quite as polished, but. Man, it's been a ride starting this business, seeing it grow, and just the people that come from all over the world now. It's very cool to see people come and enjoy the BC backcountry here, and specifically the experience of the lodge. It's not just about snowmobiling once you get here, that's for sure.
No, that's right. So what else can you do aside from snowmobiling?
I mean, that's our primary focus here for sure. We do see guys bring their split boards or their skis, and some people do a bit of that. But honestly, we push the snowmobiling side of things. That's kind of been my passion growing up, and that's the big draw here. I always say people come to go snowmobiling, but they come back for just the lodge experience, the food, the staff, that whole side of it. It's just it's pretty cool.
Right on. So if your spouse didn't ride, they've got a lot to do out there.
Well, yeah, it's interesting, and Dave can probably attest to this a bit. I would say in the last 5 years or so, women getting into the sport has just ramped up massively. We used to hardly ever see couples here, and now quite often, every week, there's several couples in house, and sometimes she'll ride, sometimes she won't. It really varies, but sometimes the women just want to sit in the hot tub and have a glass of wine and read a book or something, right? So we're finding that it's attracting couples a lot now.
Nice. And tell me about yourself. How long have you been riding, and what are the things you do other than snowmobiling?
Oh boy. Well, I got my first snowmobile probably, I think I was about 8 or 9 years old, and it was a 71 or 72 TNT 292 single cylinder with the carburetor sticking right out at your chest there.
Nice.
And believe it or not, even that old machine hooked me on snowmobiling. It just, I don't know what it was, but from then on, I don't think there's been a season yet since I was 8 or 9 years old that I didn't have my own sled, and just rode and rode and rode. And that passion for snowmobiling is what gave me the entry into this business and has really been my driver. So that's the snowmobiling side of things. But I mean, I loved a dirt bike. Just got into the Sur-Ron electric bikes for summertime, so those have been an absolute blast. As Dave mentioned, show used to love doing demolition derbies. Did that for nearly 10 years, and my gosh, it's anything with a thrill. You know, I just like a bit of risk, and I'm very competitive. So when you meet those two things, yeah, I'm into it.
Right on. No comment on that, Norona?
Well, I'm going to interject here a little bit. You know, it's the hardest thing for me is not to talk. And one of the reasons why Grizzly Lodge is one of the best places on earth to go is the guy you're looking at your screen there, Adam. Now, I
thought you were talking about me. I thought you were talking about me, but
it has nothing to do with you. But one thing about when I first went there and I met Adam, and this is the reason why people come back. I mean, Adam said it great. Like, the snowmobiling's awesome there, but it is around the whole area through the interior of British Columbia. It's exceptional around Grizzly Lodge, and it has a lot to do with there's something for everybody there. And but you could say that about a lot of different places. But the first time I went to, and I'll just tell you my story, is we had this offer to go with Greater Vancouver Power Sports to this place called Grizzly Lodge, and I was like, I do what I always do. I say yes, and we went in there. And, at that time, and Adam will say, the building it wasn't how it is now, definitely. But actually, it had the same sort of aura or the exact same feeling that you went in. The upstairs wasn't finished. It had, you could still see insulation and all that. But the downstairs was absolutely beautiful. And we went in as a group. And I remember going through those doors and going, holy cow, this place is unbelievable. And there's the whole story of that lodge was actually built for cat skiing by some Europeans that came over, and guides actually told them it's never gonna be a lodge for cat skiing because the cat skiing operations are much higher, further north, and they just couldn't compete. So when it's for snowmobiling though, it's incredible. But when I went in there and the food and meeting Adam, those people who go in there now and see the office, well, that used to be Adam's bedroom, right? And so we partied. Adam would stay up, and then it was all. So it was super, super cool. But and that's the flavor you get amazing food. Gas is right there. The hot tub, all that stuff has been there since the beginning. And you know what I tell people? This happens on every trip, no matter where if you're in Ontario or Gaspé or Alberta or BC, you all go on a trip with 6 guys. And there's always the one guy on Saturday afternoon who had a problem with his sled. He's like, I'm out. I'm going to leave. I'm going to get in the car and drive home so I can make it home Sunday, blah, blah, blah. And everybody, it kind of is a letdown for all the guys, right? Like, this is a word to all the homies out there and the women out there who ride. Like, women don't do this as much, but guys, like, they'll just leave and they forget that the other 5 guys, you're a team. And when one person leaves, the team is kind of left empty. Well, that doesn't happen at Grizzly because why on earth would you leave? Like, they have to kick you out at the end of the weekend. But also, it's just, you can't leave because you gotta ride your sled out to your car. So you're in the mountains already. And when you're in the mountains, it's kind of where we want to be. And you're starting in the mountains. And I remember when I got there and I did this video on it, I said, "Can I video you, Adam? I want to show this and that." And he didn't know me from anybody, and I still think he doesn't know me very well, anybody. But anyway, I remember doing a video, and I put the video up, and I remember guys saying, "Whoa, that's really expensive to stay there." And gas. At that time, I think gas was probably $1.10 a liter down at a regular Chevron station, and it was probably $1.20 at Adam's place, right? And I was just like, these guys are absolutely clueless, and it's very hard when you're sitting in your living room to get the feeling at Grizzly Lodge when it's 36 kilometers in the backcountry until you've been there. And that's why it's really hard to book a week or a weekend now, because people that go, they just book their next week for the next year. So and it's because of what Adam and then Tom and the whole staff, like from everybody lends a hand there. And people know this. When I'm there, I help clean tables. And you know why I help clean tables? Is because I love people who work hard. We're all three of us are hard workers, even though people think I don't work. But
are you talking about after dinner or after closing the bar?
Both. And but the reason why
he has to pay for dinner somehow. He has to pay for his dinner.
That's
so
part
he's
of
bussing
it.
tables.
That's part of it. But it is because everybody's there working so hard to make everybody's experience so great. And I can't sit idly by when people clean my stuff. I want to help them so that they have less time. They have more time in the evening to do that because of the type of people that they are. And that doesn't when people are not, when you go to a business and they're not like that, they're not trying hard, you don't want to help them. But because of how things happen at Grizzly Lodge, it's just that's what everybody wants to do. Like, I would say our group has gone in there and we get pretty wild. We have some very, very eclectic people. And there has never been any damage. There has never been any disconnect of where we are and what kind of lodge this is. We get out of hand, but it is never, ever out of hand because we respect Adam, his staff, and the place we get to go. And that's what I remind people is this is a place you can really get out there and have fun, but it comes with a huge amount of respect because of what Adam and his staff have built. And that I can't say that enough. And you just don't see that anywhere else on the planet. I'm sorry. It's just what it is. And it's something that why I've gone back every year. And I'll continue as long as they'll have me in our group. We just love it. And we drop in as much as we can.
He showed lots of pictures of Grizzly Lodge and it's made me fall in love with the place, and I haven't even been out there. So you mentioned something in the story in your intro. It was basically an abandoned lodge. There was like, what happened there? I mean, how could something that beautiful be sitting?
Well, I wasn't around when the place was originally founded, but from what I understand, there was about 4 or 5 German fellas that pooled together and wanted to build this lodge, which they got it built partially, the main timber framing and whatnot. And they wanted to cat ski out of here and just do a bit of snowmobiling on the side. And from what I understand, within 6 months to a year after they got it built, I don't know if they ran out of money or if they just kind of couldn't get along on the direction of the business. Anyways, it went into receivership. So the bank was basically holding it, and some friends of mine knew that this was just sitting here. And one of them was actually, a couple of them were really into sledding. And so they came and had a look at it and said, well, gee, we could maybe do something with this. And that's kind of when they involved me, because they knew I was really into sledding. So we rode in here and looked at it. But yeah, it was in rough shape. There was a lot of work to bring it up to what it is today, or even just a usable state. Those guys put a lot of time and money into it. And then I came on and continued the process of time and money. And that doesn't stop, that's for sure.
Wow, they did an outstanding job of the place, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's come a long ways, and that's part of what I see is our continued success is just continuing the evolution of the business and reinvesting into it. You can't stop. If you don't do anything for 10 years, customers notice it, and it's not so good. But at the same time, we get lots of feedback from clients that have been coming a long time, and Dave has seen it too. Every year we're trying to fix something, make something a little bit better, just tweak things. And that just, it feeds into your customers. They get excited about what's going to be new, what's going to be fixed, so we enjoy doing that as well.
Oh, that's cool.
The only reason, and people might not know this, but Adam used to be an Arctic Cat guy, right?
That's right.
And being an Arctic Cat guy is kind of like pushing a boulder uphill. And that's the same as starting Grizzly Lodge. The boulder's still going uphill, and he's slowly coming around, because then he started riding Polaris, and once he gets tired of changing those spark plugs every half a day,
right? Hell, gloves are coming off.
I'm gonna have him a brand new Ski-Doo turbo.
Yeah.
For him to strap onto his feet.
There we go. Well, if you remember, Dave, your first year or two here, I took you and Johnny Fredrickson into what I used to call cat country.
I've been to cat country.
That's right.
I've also been there with Brett Turcotte as well.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Cat country is a scary place.
I take it that's more of an entertainment district than an actual riding area, or what are we talking about here?
No, it's a riding area.
When I was a Arctic Cat guy, I was, a proficient rider, and I just enjoyed taking new people into what I called cat country, which usually meant some nasty hole that was difficult to get out of. And I would especially enjoy when I'd see a Ski-Doo stuck and would ride over there and give him a ski pole or a shovel, So that was an early days saying, "We'll go into cat country and see how you boys fare."
Nice. It was called cat country because he had tools stashed on every tree around the local area and parts. No, yeah, sorry.
When you started that little intro about him riding an Arctic Cat, and I was thinking about the photos he sent in. I'm thinking it didn't get much better, I'm sure there was Polarises in there.
Well, interesting on the photos, Tom sent those all in, so some of these probably are going to be a surprise to me.
Oh, cool. Yeah, he did. He sent them all in. Terrific photos, though. Terrific. We'll get to those. But how many go ahead.
I jest because normally we don't talk. It's part of the riff is talking about other sled manufacturers. Theo Epp and I designed the Carl's 900 drink one year, and that was a White Russian. It was a double and came with a shot of tequila. And the shot of tequila was when your Carl's 900 was, well, let's just say if one of the cylinders happened to blow through the head of the engine and was up in a tree, you could come back and have that shot of tequila, and you would forget about that.
I thought it was for the painkiller for your back being so sore the next day from pulling it out.
Adam's one heck of a rider. We don't get to ride with him as much as we want nowadays because he's busy obviously with the business and 3 kids and all of that. So, but he's a heck of a rider, and I agree. At the beginning, it was so fun to go out, and we didn't know where we were, and Adam loved it that way because he could take us down his favorite drainages and watch us get buried every which way. And that's it's as everybody knows about riding, that's the fun. I mean, we've gone down holes where we're like, what are we going to do today? And we probably didn't go further than a kilometer down some drainage, and we were in there all day. Yeah. Coming out, making it out at dark after there was enough trenches and climbing material left to get out of there. So as every rider knows, that's all part of the fun.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. There's a good chat going on in the live chat right now. And Neil Owen says he hired a personal trainer so he can get himself into shape so he can get out west after being at the snowmobile show this year. He got hooked on doing a Western trip to the GRIZZLY Lodge.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. That's,
so there you go.
Point. Being in shape, a lot of people ask me what is it how can I prepare, or how do I be a better rider? And the number one thing that I think even most athletes will attest to this is conditioning really affects how well you can ride. You know, you can be a really good rider, but if you're not in decent shape, you're going to struggle. So for you guys coming from out east that are typically doing the 400 or 500 miles a day on the trails, it helps a lot to be in a little better shape, because at 7,000 feet, the air is pretty thin. So you want to have so much fun up there, but it sucks when you're out of wind and you just can't ride because you're so tired. So good thinking. Get into some shape, and you'll enjoy your trip out here a little more.
Jinxie Boy says round is a shape, right?
Oh yeah, round's good too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, get on the exercise bike, or you know, it's usually pretty cold out there now, but get on the bike and build some cardio. That's the secret.
Wouldn't it be more like mountain biking though, Dave? Like a anaerobic more than aerobic?
Well, you want to do aerobic and build efficiency, and that's also going to teach you to burn fat. But you know, like, you're out for a long day. You know, most people they hit the weight room and they get all the strength, but strength is important, but it's not very good if you run out of, like Adam said, oxygen. Because as soon as you're out of oxygen, you can't get it to those big muscles anyway. So it really is about endurance. And look, you know, it used to be my job for 18 years as a pro mountain biker and racer and cross country skier, and just any amount of fitness. Don't try to change things too much. Just get, like, if you're, you know, 4 times a week, get in and do 30 to 45 minutes of some cardio. It doesn't have to be super hard. It's just going to make you efficient. And you know, you like Adam said, you'll just have a better time. And you know, I don't do this, but you know, every beer you have a glass of water. You know, we'll forgive you because you're from Ontario, but nobody from BC would do that. And if you did that from Alberta, this is the water in Alberta, okay?
That's right.
So listen, if you do that, don't tell anybody. If there's an Albertan there or a group of Albertans, do not tell them you're drinking a beer and then I have a water, and that's a good idea, because you'll be hanging from your underwear off the door of your room.
Well, that happens.
How does, when I think you were advertising a 3-day excursion at the show, is that right?
Yeah, we do. For what we advertise out east there, we offer a 3-night stay and ride package or a 4-night stay and ride package. So you would be 3 nights here, 2 full days of riding, or 4 nights here and 3 full days of riding, which is typically our more popular package. Often we have requests for people to stay longer. But honestly, we found, especially if you're new to the mountains, after 3 days of riding, your experience goes downhill rapidly because you're just so tired and beat. So we kind of market that 4-day one mostly because we know clients can't typically take more than that if they're new to the mountains, because we want them to have a good time and leave on a high rather than going, oh, I have to sled for 2 more days, right?
Yeah, right. What night is the ripper? Like, what night do you turn it on in the lodge? Is it the last night of riding, or is it night 4? Is it the third night?
It's every night.
It's pretty interesting because it's kind of an animal of its own, where you'll have the majority of a new group come in, and they'll all be jacked up and say, oh, we're going to turn it up tonight, and nothing really materializes. And then it'll be a night where it's quiet, you know, it's 10 o'clock and we're like, okay, everything's winding down. And then all of a sudden somebody buys a round of shooters or something, or rings this bell right up here. I don't know if you can see it. And
nice.
I'll tell you what, they just run away sometimes. So you can never really plan those, but when Dave's here, it's every
night. See, that's when I got to get out.
Yeah.
When Dave's there.
I'll tell you a story. So Theo and I, this is going back probably 4 years. Theo and I got invited to come out with some guys from Prince George, and this was about 3 weeks after we had been there on our regular trip. So we said, "You bet, we're coming out." So on the drive up, I said to Theo, just rest up, because the next 3 nights are going to be insane with the boys from Prince George.
Oh yeah.
And you know, so we rode, and everybody's had dinner, and now they're watching the hockey game or something. They're watching Mad About You and they're quiet. So Theo and I are sitting at the bar having a full throttle, our favorite drink,
Or two.
and or two. And one of them comes over and says, "Hey, we start laughing a little bit louder." And then one guy comes over and like, "What are you guys doing?" And I was like, "Well, we're not watching Mad About You. We're drinking full throttles." And he said, "What's a full throttle?" And we proceeded to show those boys from Prince George what it was like to have a few full throttles. And we had a blast. Every night we partied and every day we rode hard. And that's what we do. You don't drink unless you can wake up early at 6 and be ready to ride for breakfast. That's the rule. And they were, I think, pretty shocked. But needless to say, it's look at where that place is and what you get to do. It's like a 6-year-old going to Disneyland. They just can't contain themselves, and I can't contain myself. I like to have fun every night, and you only live once. So that can that you hit, that bell. When I went in there, that thing didn't have a scratch on it. It was so shiny and new. And what is it, 13 or 14 years later? That thing, might be time to get a new one.
It looks like it's all banged up and dented and.
Oh yeah, it's taken a beating. And the funny thing about this bell here is, if you can see it pretty good there.
Here, I'm gonna make you full. I'm gonna make you full on here. There we go.
So that's the shot shell, as we call it. That's 105 millimeter howitzer shell they use for knocking avalanches down in the Rogers Pass.
Wow.
So we hung that up. It's got to be 12, 13 years ago. And boy, when somebody rings that, and it's after dinner or before dinner for that matter, whoever rings it has to buy a round of shooters for the whole lodge. So you better be ready with your pocketbook. But it's kind of contagious. Somebody rings it, and then next thing you know, somebody else has got to strut right over there and ring it, and then sometimes it's just a runaway. You can't stop it. So that brings about some entertainment, you might say, but it's certainly been a real entertainment piece, because it's looking pretty beat up. But I feel bad about replacing it because there's a lot of history there now, you might say.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's you can't replace it. If you ever do, you just hang that one behind the bar, so
Yeah.
it's still there. Yeah, so.
We'll find it.
Yeah.
So when you're there, like this goes on to my experience of the whole thing. You have snowmobile rentals. Like, how many sleds do you have available?
Yeah, so we typically will have 12 rental sleds, and then I'll have a couple guide sleds that occasionally, if they're not being used, will roll into the rental side of things. So anywhere from 12 to 14, 15 sleds available. And there's always one or two in the shop broken. There's always one or two in the shop smashed up, because that happens. But that's all part of the fun. So we like to keep things running as best we can. But trees are out there, and when you look at the tree, you hit the tree, and people just can't not look at trees, it seems like.
What do you pay for a damage deposit, or are you pretty forgiving if someone goes out and they have an oopsie moment?
Yeah, well, we wish we could be as forgiving as everybody hopes, but basically what we do is we offer insurance. So it's $35 a day typically, and that covers you for damages above $1,500. So that's pretty attractive. A lot of guys do that. They're okay with paying for a bent arm, $300-400. But nobody wants to pay for a brand new sled, right? So at least that insures them above damages over $1,500. So that's how we handle that side of things. And I mean, honestly, typically the damage we see from guys that are new to the mountains, whatnot, it's a front bumper, or it's a rear bumper, or it's an A-arm. Usually it's under $500, but it's sleds. They're not cheap. And when you run them into things, it's just the cost of having fun, but it's worth it.
Oh, that $35 a day to be insured out like that is insane.
Yeah.
And now, do you have to carry any liability, like the person coming out, or do you supply liability insurance and all that other good stuff?
So we have commercial liability insurance for like our business and renting the sleds. As far as like people sometimes I suppose you could get some kind of liability insurance yourself personally. I'm not sure about that.
You wouldn't really need it though. That's more you need to cover your butt, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
you're talking about costs that someone who flew out here would have anyway. I mean, if you're going to go into town and rent sleds, you're probably going to pay more,
Yeah.
and you're going to pay that same price for. I mean, that's just what Adam's talking about. It doesn't matter where you go in the province of British Columbia, anywhere. The cost is probably going to be higher than it is at Grizzly Lodge, and also it'll be the same as far as insurance and that. And, I really encourage people, no matter where they go, is to hire a guide. And people are really hesitant to hire guides because they think someone's going to hold their hand and tell them what to do. And really, what a guide's going to do is they're going to get you to the best snow for your ability. So if you're a brand new group, instead of having the one person in your group that thinks they know where they're going and takes you 4 different places, and by the time you get to a good place, you're tired, the guide is actually going to take you to where they see your ability right away. And if they see you riding like your group is just, your group is top notch, they're going to take you to the top notch area, and you're not going to waste gas, time, and energy in an area that you'd be bored at. So that is really what a good guide and the guides at Grizzly do. I mean, they know that area, and they're going to take you to where no one went because they know, right? I mean, I've done it all over the world, like sledding, and I always get a guide, and I know when I go there was a place where people are like, oh, I know where we're going. I know instantly when they don't really know where they are, and I know when you're with a guide that you just get to the goods. It's just like if I came to your backyard, you'd take me on the best trail system and the best off trail because you know where it snowed and you know where it is. And so I highly recommend that if you're coming in and you're flying in. And again, the cost is it's nominal for what you're getting. And so don't bicker over the little incidentals, because when you get home, you're not gonna think about those. You're gonna think about the time you had and that you didn't waste time. And what I love what Adam said. I've done a ton of skiing and heli skiing and cat skiing, and people go in there for 7 days. And the truth is, when you go heli skiing for 7 days, unless you ski every day, half those people are shattered by the 3rd day. Like half the people are sitting in the helicopter at the end of the day on the 4th, 5th, and 6th day. And I like what Adam said there is you go for 4 days and you ride for 3 days. And you know what? If you're not tired at the end of those 3 days, chalk that up that you did all your homework. And the next time you come back, you're going to even have more fun, because what you're going to see is more damage, body damage and sled damage on day 4, 5, and 6 if you do stay longer. And that it's just smart business sense, right? Get people in, have a great time. And you know what? If you have an extra day, you're out of the lodge, you're going to spend it in Kelowna or somewhere else doing something else, or it makes the whole holiday just that much better. And I love that 4-day, three ride package. I think we don't go in for a week, we go in for that same amount because of the same thing.
Nice. Corey Jinks wants to know if Dave's tours end at a byway always, then he's in. Don't know what he gets by that. That must be an inside ambassador joke, is it? Any marked trails out there? Pat Yajikic asks.
Marked trails, no. I mean, we have our groom trail. We groom from our staging area, our parking lot, up to the lodge, but that's about it. There's no trail system here. There's probably few places in BC that have extensive trail networks. There's some, but just not. Once you get into the subalpine and alpine, you forget about trails pretty quick because it's just so much fun being able to just go wherever. If you can fit your skis there and snow will hang on it, you can put your sled there.
Nice. Kristen Donkers wants to know how to apply for a job out there. Lots of experience wrenching and riding.
Yeah, that's this day and age, there's everybody's kind of in the same boat where it's hard to find good people. Fortunately for us, maybe it's because it's a cool place to work, I'm not sure, but we get a ton of applications, and it's actually a bit difficult to get a job here, especially on the guiding riding side of things, because it's pretty popular, and our guys typically come back the next season. But by all means, shoot us an email with your resume. You got to hound us every year, be on us, and say, look, I want to come, I want to come. And you know what? Sometimes a guy drops out, and you're the next guy on the list, and that's kind of how it works. It's luck of the draw. But if you're on our doorstep, you got a better chance.
The lodge is 5 hours from Vancouver and 7 hours from Calgary. How do you fly and get to the Grizzly Lodge?
Right. So most clients fly into Kamloops and some Kelowna. Kamloops is about an hour's drive to the bottom of our logging road. Kelowna is about 2 hours. So we encourage people to fly into Kamloops just for the little shorter travel. But either is fine. Usually flights often will go through Vancouver or Calgary on your way here. It's hard to get a direct flight from out east into Kamloops, but occasionally you do find them.
Sweet. Lots of good questions, guys. The chat's doing really well. Lots of comments about Dave's bang on about the guiding and the importance of a guide, and then just stupid stuff Corey Jinks is saying.
Well, and I might add on that note, you're always going to get the type of person who thinks maybe they want trails because they don't think they're going to be able to, make it out there in the backcountry because they've never done it before. Again, that's what a guide's for. And even if you just get up, they groom up to the top, so you're going to make it up there, and then across and down to a lake. And this is the whole part of snowmobiling that is really near and dear to my heart. I started from the very beginning, as everybody does. People forget that, right? And it doesn't matter how good a rider is. They were once pretty useless, and no one started and was like a magician on a sled. So the whole point of this is that don't worry how you ride. It's just that you're having fun and you're going to improve. And if you make it down to the first lake the first day and you're coming back and you're pumped and everybody's talking about the hopovers they did, they're probably tired and watching Mad About You, and you'll be at the bar drinking full throttles. It really doesn't matter. So I tell people honestly, don't worry about where you are. That's the job of a guide, is to take you out. And if you're gonna flip over a whole bunch of times, and they're gonna help you get unstuck and flip you back over, and you're gonna have a great time. And don't be scared about a trail to get out there, because a trail is literally, once someone rides over it, there's a trail there. So you can ride these single track trails that are littered to good areas. And you might need help through a section of it, but you're going to leave there with a lot of confidence. I see this a lot with a lot of the people that work at Ski-Doo, especially in marketing. Some of them have never ridden sleds before, but every year they come out and they've got the passion or the gumption, and they try it and they get better. And boy, I've seen a huge change in a lot of their riding, and they're also pumped on it a little bit more, because and not every, are they going to live out here and be sled every day? No, that's not their prerogative. But just seeing them in the smile, like, seriously, I know Adam's like this, and Tom and everybody at the lodge is like, the smile you have at the end of the day after being out in the backcountry is something that you just don't get in very many sports, and especially with sledding. So that's all that matters, right? And you come back to this warm lodge with really good food, the hot tubs there, the pool table. I never watch TV, but there is a TV there. I have watched the odd UFC, but I'd rather just be talking to my buddies, and that's the greatest part about it, right?
So just on that note, we enjoy seeing non-mountain riders out here, probably more than your BC Alberta sled heads. Not because they're not great clients. We love our clients from BC and Alberta. They've supported us, for many years. They're great people. We love them. But when you've never been to the mountains before, and you get out here and you get to the top one day and you're just off trail a few times and you're not worried about it because you got a guide with you, the joy and the fulfillment that you see out of people that have never ridden the mountains before, it just energizes us, because they're so jacked. I mean, I picked up guys from the airport, and we're not even to the lodge yet. We're driving up the logging road, which is an experience in itself. And they're saying, like, we can go home, we're happy already, because it's a whole nother experience just getting to the lodge. Never mind going snowmobiling. Once you're here, you're set. But it's this whole experience of coming to BC, getting into the mountains, staying like literally we're 50 kilometers out here, and the Alpine is like 5 minutes up the hill here. So it really is more than about just going snowmobiling, and that's what we really try and market. But it's so hard to capture that essence, going to a snowmobile show and saying, "Hey, come to BC and let's go sledding at the Grizzly Lodge." Well, okay, we go sledding, but it's just such a whole experience, and that really energizes us as a staff to see people come out, especially from out east, that it's new to them, right? So that's a lot of fun for us.
Now, your trips, do they include a meal plan as well? Do you do breakfast and dinner included with the packages?
Yeah. So basically, when we started marketing this, what we call our stay and ride package several years ago now, we looked around at some of our, I guess you'd say, competition, but there isn't really another backcountry snowmobile lodge. But just we kind of looked to the east, Sicamous, Revelstoke, whatnot. There's lots of businesses offering sled rentals and guiding and accommodations. But we wanted to offer something that people looked at and went, all I have to do is book my flights. The rest is included in the price. So basically, that's what our stay and ride package is. You book your flights based on our availability for stay and ride packages, and then you get here, your meals are included, your sleds included, your fuel's included, oil's included. The only thing that's not included, because it would break us, would be your bar bill or merchandise that you might buy at our store here. But we wanted to make it easy. So it's book your flights and the rest is looked after. And then once you're here, you're going to probably buy a few things at the store and have a couple drinks with Dave. But that's it. That's the ease of it. There's no car rentals. There's no trying to figure out that stuff, because we pick you right up at the airport. And when your trip's done, we drop you off at the airport.
That's convenient for sure. I was going to say, when we were talking about jobs out there, the reason why you don't have any jobs available is because Norona is taking all the good jobs.
That's right. He's clearing the tables too much.
Hey, listen, you guys want to check out some photos from the fans, some fan photos?
Sure.
Yeah, well, let's do that. And we'll talk more about Grizzly Lodge. This has been a great show. You guys are quite entertaining. So let's get on with that, right?
He's the man that really brings this stuff together. I got to pump his tires up a little bit.
All right. We're going to get to the fan photos. Fan photos are brought to you by Fast Track Snowmobile Traction Products. Modern tracks have come a long way from tiny lugs years ago, but there's one thing they'll never do, and that's penetrate ice. If you ride trails and come across icy situations, that's where the Fast Track stud kits can help you. Gary, what do you like best about Fast Track studs? Well, Gary, I like how Fast Track takes a unique approach to studding a snowmobile with only the best designs and stainless steel materials. I also like how they include free access to the template library with custom designed templates for almost any snowmobile. You know what else is cool? Their Top Gun studs and airlight backers are designed to pull flush and evenly compress the track in a way other studs and backers do not. I appreciate how my Eiler wheels and running gear don't get beat up from the stud heads mile after mile. And Gary, you want to know what the best thing I like about Fast Track studs? What's that? For all Snowmobile Sessions listeners, Fast Track is offering free install tools with the purchase of a stud kit. Just go to fasttrack.co, there's no K in track, that's fasttrac.co. Make sure the install toolkit is in the cart and use the coupon code SNOW, SNOW, and that toolkit is absolutely free. That's what I like best about Fast Track Snowmobile Traction Products. There we go.
Hey, there's those Fast Track studs work, but the only stud you need when you come to Grizzly Lodge, that's Theo Epp for all you ladies out there. So you can hire Theo as your guide. He'll show up, and I don't know. I can't even say.
Does he dress like fireman or anything like that? Does he take requests?
He does it all.
Wisco Sledheads was asking, not me.
Leave that one alone, maybe.
Yeah. No, you guys won't be able to appreciate studs out there. I'm talking traction studs.
No, we appreciate Theo. We appreciate Theo.
Yeah. When you get on the trails here, if you ever get a chance, you're going to wish you had a set of fast tracks on your machine. That's for sure. So anyway, we got Sportsman Lodge update here. This is my big trip, Norona. You're going to have to come out to it. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
$150 Canadian per person per night, includes a home cooked meal, breakfast and dinner. And the Sportsman's Lodge, the main lodge, is sold out. We sold that out last week, the first week we had this open. But Energy Power Sports has taken the tower. So if you still are on the fence and you decided last week you wanted to go, you wish you could get in, call Jim 705-853-4434 and tell him that you're with the Snowmobile Sessions group and you want to be in the Energy Power Sports Tower. And we'll take some stragglers in there for sure, and it's a good time in the tower as well. So the Sportsman
cool.
Lodge is a rustic lodge. Yeah. But yeah, I'm blown away, Norona. We announced that on a Monday night, and by Friday, I think everything was gone. By Monday, we had one room left. I think the follow-ups were all done by Monday around 4:00, and by 4:30, the last room was gone. Isn't that cool?
It's super awesome. You know, one of the things I love about snow, I mean, everybody, you know, we don't talk about it enough, but it's really the people in our sport, right? It's the going to the shows, it's riding, it's the after riding part. And this is, you know, this plays into Grizzly Lodge as well. And the lodge, Sportsman Lodge that you guys are going to, it's like you're all there, no one's leaving early, and you don't want to miss out on the fun. So it just, like I said, it's like getting 9-year-old kids together in the sandbox, and there's endless Tonka trucks in there to do whatever you want. And the Tonka trucks are our sleds. And, you know, it's that is what I absolutely love is, you know, the group I get to hang out with and that they allow me to come. It's been mind-boggling since I started. And it's one of the things that keeps me coming back and keeps the fun in the sport. I mean, it really does. It's I just think that's, and more people are realizing that, right? Hence why your group is sold out.
Oh, and you know what? It's national. We have 5 coming from the US to join us.
Yeah, cool.
And co-ed as well. So
yeah,
get some ladies in the house. So that's gonna be good.
Adam also forgot to mention, you know, that you can land in Kamloops or Kelowna, but you can also heli into the lodge.
Yeah.
So
there's a few groups that do that. Some guys fly heli right from Kelowna to here, which is about a 45-50 minute helicopter ride. It's pricey, but that they actually, the first time they did it, they landed here and they said, Adam, you know what the problem with doing that is? And I said, what's that? And they said, well, we have to do it every year now.
You can't put a price on happiness. You can't put a price on happiness.
No. How high up are you? Like what's the elevation and what's it compared to?
So the lodge itself sits at 4,850 feet. And then the majority of our riding is 6,065, as high as the top peak is 7,500. So most of the time you're riding between 6 and 7, right in that range there.
Oh, that's cool. They're asking if I guess there's only 5 and nuts enough to come from the US. There may be more. I just don't have any confirmation on those ones yet. So yeah. Anyway, this comes from Jake Valanga, and he says, "Hey Gary, I just recently started listening to your show a couple months ago, and I just have to say that it's absolutely awesome." In caps. I love hearing that. Thank you. It's really helping me get through this rough time of year when it's too cold to ride my dirt bike and there's no snow on the ground. Attaches a picture of my new to me 2017 Polaris Switchback Assault 800, my buddy's 2022 Polaris Indy XC850, and my buddy's dad's 2015 Polaris Rush 800. This photo was taken in the parking lot of the Empire Airstrip Snow Drags in northern Lower Peninsula, Michigan last year. Can't wait for the snow to start flying here again. Keep up the good work and think snow. Yeah, good gang there. Thanks a lot. If you are a new listener to the show, send in a photo or two to fanphotos@mudbrats.com, and we'll make sure that we show them up here. Where is it? Right there, fanphoto@mudbrats.com on the screen. and get them in by Monday at noon. That way I'm not, going crazy at 7:00. So John Miller says, hey, Gary, here's some photos for the podcast. The first 3 are from Grizzly Lodge. You recognize that shot? Yeah, he's nodding his head.
That's a nice shot. I like that.
Yeah. He'll sell it to you probably for the website. Last year, he was there last year. The boys and gals up there do an amazing job, and they should be on everyone's bucket list. The last photo is me and my dad this winter in Halliburton. He's on the 2022 900R Renegade XRS, and my 2020 850 Backcountry X is beside him. So, yeah, that's a beauty shot, isn't it?
So good.
Look at that. How often do you get a bluebird day like this?
That's a hard one to ask. It's really luck of the draw. I would say there's more of those February, March, April than there would be in December and January. But they come when they want to come. The nice thing is you get more into the spring. We still get wicked snow, but your days are longer and your cycles of snow sunshine are shorter. So in your later season, mid-February and on, you'll get that 3-4 days of socked in and snowy or whatnot, and then it'll clear up and be sunny rather than a week or 10 days of nothing for sunshine. But again, sledding's luck of the draw. Sometimes it's forecasted to be socked in and we're above that, and you get beautiful days like that shot there. And I've been to the top of these mountains hundreds of times now, and it never gets old. You get up there and you look around and it's new every time. It's just amazing.
And look at the snow ghosts there. That's amazing. All the trees just covered. Makes you just want to drive over some of those trees, right, Norona?
Well, you know what I see and love about this photo is on those days you can just see forever, right? And BC is just it's endless mountains all the way up to Alaska. And it's just what's so fantastic is, most people, people that don't like winter, they don't take the time to get to places like this. And it's actually can be relatively easy, on a ski hill or go snowshoeing. And we're lucky as sledders. I mean, this is a normal day, right? And like Adam's right, it's not sunny every day, but the reality is it's either snowing or it's sunny. Like we don't get a lot of just blah days and I don't want to say that in a bad way, but in Ontario and much like you don't get the rain we get, right? So you'll get those days where it's cloudy for a week and it doesn't really rain and it's not sunny. BC is not like that. It's either pouring rain or it kind of then storm clears and it's sunny. And you can be, the great thing is it doesn't have to be bluebird like this to actually be a magical day. Like there's lots of days when a storm runs through and, it's been there for 2 days. And when it clears, it kind of like breaks and you see bits of sun, and that's more than enough to just be like, wow, we kind of lucked out. We got deep snow or good snow and sunny skies. The visibility always seems to be pretty good in around Grizzly Lodge, I find, and you're riding a lot of trees. To me, it's the best place to be. And you're down low, and it doesn't matter if it's nuking out because you get into these zones and you can see just as much as you need to see to get around, right?
Exactly. You need to be able to see to the next tree. That's it.
Yeah, you just need to see where your buddy's stuck so you can avoid him and then pass him.
Make sure you have the camera running though, right? Flatland Freerider says, hey guys, Adam Gamble here. I went to Grizzly as a once-in-a-lifetime bucket list trip, and this season will be my 6th year in a row. He can't get enough. Storm days are just as fun as a bluebird.
That's right, Adam. Nice you're watching tonight. Looking forward to seeing you out here again. And I recall your first trip, and it was a bucket list trip. I have to come and do this once in my life. And yeah, you're hooked, and it's we love seeing that. That's great. We appreciate your support.
Yeah, that's the thing. I got to get out there. It's just I see pictures like this, and it just does it to me, right?
Yeah, and it's a reminder. Like, look, you only get one life, okay? And you know, I've been so lucky in my life, and one thing I will never forget, and it doesn't come easy. So I want to take advantage of every chance I get, that's what I encourage people to do, is just make it a priority. I mean, it's not forever. You're not coming for a month. You're coming for 5 days or 6 days, right? When you include your flight,
Yeah.
just take the time. And you know, it's funny. I hear it all the time at shows. What should I put on my snowmobile? What about this? And I go, dude, don't waste your money putting a can on your sled. Put that in the bank account for a trip where you can go ride for a weekend, or better, hop on a flight to Grizzly Lodge and go ride. That's what's going to actually make you a better rider. And just, you know, Adam's the person who just wrote that is a perfect example of someone who's like, I came out here, and then I came out and I realized, well, why wouldn't I do this every year? And it doesn't have to be over the top expensive. I don't think the lodge is you know, when you compare it to heli skiing, we take a group up to Baldface we have done that. And this year, the price tag for 20 people was $37,000. I said, we could fly to Vegas, party like rock stars, and then go to Grizzly Lodge, and it still wouldn't be that expensive. So I think what's amazing to me about Grizzly Lodge is that it's can you make it cheap out of your house, and you know, you don't have to stay in a hotel, but it's not any more expensive than actually staying at a Best Western and eating regular food like from the restaurants in town. But the quality above that, from like staying at a Best Western and going into local restaurants that you got to sit in a lineup for, and you never know if you're going to get in or not, and then filling up and then driving every day to the place. There's nothing like that. And that's, again, it's just when you're at Grizzly Lodge, you're in the riding area, right? You're 10 minutes away. So night ride, yeah, we're going to do a night ride. You wake up early and want to go for a ride before everybody else, and then come back and eat your lunch in the lodge, and then sneak out for an afternoon on the POW surfers, or do something else. If your wife or husband doesn't ride, or your kids are there, or whatever it is, like, you can do all that because you're there for 24 hours a day, right? It just makes a big difference. And, you know, that's why I encourage it. It's not to sell. I don't want to sell anybody on Grizzly Lodge, but I say, when you go there, you're actually going to know what we're talking about. And you have to go there to experience it. Just like the trip you plan up to that lodge, you can't, you know, I say to Mike, when we want to plan a trip, I go, we're doing it anyway, no matter how many people show up. And the people that didn't show up are going to realize what they missed. They'll be there next year. And that's exactly what happened to Grizzly Lodge. I remember the first year, it was like we had to kind of like coerce people to come. And then it was like, and then now we're like, sorry, you didn't make the cut. You went to bed early. You fell asleep on the couch.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Well, okay. Well, let's get on that then. Like I'm looking at this, at the postcard here on the back, and it says our 3-night and 4-night packages include, you get the airport shuttle, the sled rental, fuel and oil included. How do you do that? Guiding and riding instruction, accommodation and your meals, avalanche safety gear, orientation on avalanche safety. So what's the prices? I know what they are from the show, but go ahead and let us know.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to take a stab at this because I don't have them in front of me and I don't do this marketing side of it. But your 4-night stay and ride package, I believe you're $3,700 plus tax. That includes everything that's there, so that you got to book your flight, and the rest is taken care of. So I would say by the time you pay for a flight out here, you're going to be probably $4,500. But man, for the experience you get, as Dave's been explaining, in the Bluebird days of pictures that we're looking at here, and if it's not Bluebird, you're in the deep snow and whatnot. It's just something else.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thomas says $2,550 for 3 nights. That's what I was thinking, and $3,575 for 4 nights. So 25 and $3,500. So how do you can't even buy a sled for that, and you're gonna have more fun than you would in a season in those 3-4 days.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is if you know, just as an example, if you've never been to anywhere BC before, and you plan this with your friends and tried to plan a trip, you're going to spend probably 30% more, and you're going to need to go 3 years to finalize and get the trip that you're going to get the first time if you go to Grizzly. And that's just because of the guiding and the pickup and they're like, they don't want you to come there and like miss stuff. You're going to do everything the first time around. To me, it's just the difference, right? Wherever I go in North America, when I would travel, we get a guide, is because I know that it's going to save me 30 or 40% in time, energy, or money.
Well,
Get to the place.
The other side of it, Dave, which I think you briefly mentioned on, is you consider yourself a proficient sledder. I've been riding the mountains for 25 years, whatever it be. When I've gone places with you and Mike and whatnot, when we've got somebody that knows the terrain, your kind of brain shuts off on worrying about where you're going and how to get back, because you go, well, he's with us, and now you just ride. So it definitely takes that whole side of it out of the equation where you're like worried about, oh, it's getting cloudy, maybe we should go back. We don't want to get stuck out here. When you got a good guide that knows the terrain, you ride all day, and he figures out how to get you home safely.
Right on. Is it for everybody? Like, is there people that go out there and go, I'm just going to bust tables for the night?
Yeah.
Like,
I can't say that it is for everybody, because I think that's a bit of an overstatement, but I honestly can't think of somebody that's come and left going, you know what, this was a terrible experience, I'll never do it again. I can't think of, in all the years I've been here and had people come through, some people certainly more jacked on it than others. And but I really think if you're into snowmobiling and you want to experience the mountains, it's pretty hard to shake once you've done it once. We have lots of guys that head back out east after being there and go, man, the trails, the mountains have ruined us. Now we have to be confined to a trail, right? And I think
I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot.
Yeah, like,
I do.
I would have, I think I would enjoy the miles that get put on the trail system out east there. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, it's unbelievable how far you can go and all the different places you can stay there. But as a mountain sledder, it's so cool that we go out and we cover maybe, I don't know, 40 miles in a day, something like that, maybe 50. That's a big day miles. So, under 100K. And we're not going anywhere. There's no destination. We're just having fun. We're going down this drainage, or we're going down to this little lake. We're going, well, what's over there? What's beyond that clump of trees? And the sole purpose is just having fun. And there's no defined, you have to go here. And that's what always intrigues me, is there's always another line that you haven't ridden before. If there's snow there and you think your sled will fit, you're welcome to try it. And that just, every time I get on my sled, I just get giddy, because I'm thinking, can I get there? Can I fit through there? The challenge just evolves. The better sledder you get, the more challenge is there. And now with snowmobiles today, the rider is the weak point. 10, 15 years ago, the sled was, not capable to do what you wanted to do. Now, even some of the best snowmobilers in the world, I mean, it's a challenge to outride these sleds now. Like, they're fantastic. Even skidoos.
Whoa.
Troy Park says, even if you weren't into powder riding, you'll still appreciate the mountain scenery. That sums it up good. This is in the flatlands here in Barry's Bay.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
On that note too, I would, if someone brought their significant other that wasn't really a sledder, but maybe we're into cross-country skiing or snowshoeing or even ski touring, you can actually go find a spot that no one's been all winter right out of the lodge and do an epic little hike. Or if you had kids, like, you could bring your kid in and take them for a trudge through the forest. Like, it's pretty amazing what you can do there. Like, obviously we go there to snowmobile, but there's so much more. I mean, it's just like being at any lodge in the BC backcountry. You can do, there's no limit to what you can or cannot do. And Adam said it perfectly, is you know, the sleds are so great these days. I mean, we've skied there. I've gone riding all day, and a group that I went in with, one of the guys wanted to go pow surfing in the afternoon. So at 4 o'clock, when everybody went in and started having a beer or Caesar, we turned around and went out, and we did like 3 wicked pow surf runs, watched the sunset go down, and cruised in, you know, a couple hours later, and had a great afternoon. And you really can, you know, you pick your own adventure there. That's the beauty, right? So it, you know, is it for everybody? I definitely think so. You know, are you going to go to Grizzly Lodge to snowshoe? You probably don't need to go to that extreme, but if you wanted to, like seriously, what I know of Grizzly, if I was, say, in a business and I wanted to take, you know, 15 people, or rent out, like have a large number of group where we want to do an overnight trip, I definitely look into it, because we could get up there, we could have dinner, we could do this thing where it's like you're giving someone a really remote experience without it being like dangerous, right? And it that's cool, right? And it's close. It's close enough that, you know, like the lodge is, you're not going to die getting to the lodge. Let's put it that way. But you when you're out there, and you feel like you are out there, like it's the BC bush.
Yeah. What happens if you get out there, Adam, and you want to call it a day? You're whipped or winded. Does the guide take individual people back, or you know, some people want to stay and some people want to go?
Yeah, so I mean that is a reality, because sometimes somebody's just whipped at 2 o'clock, and the other, you know, 4 riders in the group or whatever are wanting to ride a little more. So typically in that case, the guide will run the crew back to the lodge here, drop off whoever, you know, wants to belly up to the bar and have a Caesar or something, or have an early hot tub, and then they'll take off up the other side of the mountain or something like that, carry on for another hour or two till everybody's finished up. So that's the thing of it is I guess it's hard to envision. We're all kind of conditioned to a kind of a very structured corporate style trip, where we go to Mexico or we go to Vegas or whatever, and you have these events booked and whatnot. Whereas here, yes, we say, okay, we typically, you know, guide meeting with the clients at 9:30 in the morning after breakfast, and we do our avalanche talk, and we go over all our safety stuff and whatnot, and then we hit the mountain, and we'll typically ride till, say, 4. But I mean, it's not written in stone, and we want everybody to have the best day they can. So if that means that half of them are done at 2 o'clock, great. You know, the rest can ride on. It's really about, I would say to my staff, everything we do here needs to be framed through the eyes of the client. So imagine you're the client, you've come all this way or from wherever. What are your expectations? What are you feeling? What are you thinking when you're on the mountain, when you're in the lodge, when you're waking up? Is there a cup of coffee ready? Like all those things, I really stress on the staff that it's got to be framed through the client's eyes. So that's kind of our mindset is here, making sure that people are looked after. I think we lost.
And this is from All Terrain TV. He's a newer fan as well. He says, "Hey, Gary, I got a lot of pictures for you. If you only want to do a few, that's fine." So I did them all, but we'll go through them fairly quick. It won't take long.
Sweet sled.
Take your pick. I have videos and everything. If people want to check out, just mention All Terrain TV on YouTube. Thanks a lot. And he does have a good YouTube channel, so check it out. Subscribe to mine first, though, will you? And while we're going through these pictures, hit the like button and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button too.
Dave, do you still got Gary's sound?
No.
Must have muted his mic or something.
Oh, check out that sick Yamaha.
Oh, that's a 74, maybe something like that. We had one similar, white hood, just like that, square headlight or rectangular headlight.
I like the steering column.
That's badass.
Oh, dude.
We'll see if he gets his mic back on. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Yeah, weird. Because it sounds like he can't hear us, right?
Oh, I sent him a message here to see if.
Yeah, I put it in private. Oh, let's see. Well, other people are saying.
Yeah. He'll figure it out here pretty quick. I'm on my Starlink internet. I just got it set up today.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. So it seems to be working pretty good.
Yeah, it works awesome.
Yeah. Oh, that's a sweet sled. The XLT Polaris triple.
Fuel injected triple.
Oh, yeah. The sound of that snowmobile.
I bet. Oh, yeah. Nobody can hear him.
Gary.
Oh, maybe he's going back. He's saying, hang on.
We'll have to do sign language the rest of the show.
I wonder if we have to go back on.
Oh. Should we relaunch? He says he could. Oh, what? Oh, somebody said they can hear us.
Dave, can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you now.
Hey, we're live.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, my audio decided to leave the show. Isn't that bad when that happens?
We were just talking about that triple Polaris there. That thing's pretty cool.
It's sweet, isn't it?
Oh, I love
He's
the
got
sound of that machine. Somebody was chirping Chris Brandt earlier today about him showing off his triple old Polaris like that so much. And I said, like, man, if I could have my turbo sound like that triple, look out. I would do it now.
Yeah, so that's a 95 RXL 650 EFI.
Sweet.
He's got there.
It's amazing
This
where
is the
you
dual sport riding he does.
Yeah.
Me now?
Yeah.
Yep, we can hear you.
You can't hear me now. Oh, you can?
Nope.
Perfect.
Yep.
There he is ice riding on that CR.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty sweet.
That's an honor suite.
Adam Trainer had a
Yeah,
CR 500 in his basement for a little while.
For a while, the old CR 500.
Nice. Oh yeah, those were the beasts, man.
Yeah, he had that in, and I don't think I saw it and I was like, you have to start that. So he kicked it over and we started it in the basement. That was epic. That was early years too.
Yeah.
He had that CR 500 was sitting on a giant grizzly bear rug.
That's right.
Which I also might have worn in the bar on one occasion.
Yes, Dave wore the grizzly rug over himself and started attacking people right here in the chairs. It was fairly entertaining for Dave.
I scratched scratched the head mechanic at GVP, Willie. Took him 4 years to forgive me.
I love it. Sounds like a good time. That's why he has to clean tables.
Yeah.
Right. And this must be the Rhinelander, Wisconsin, maybe. is where that picture is with the ice castle in the back. Eagle River. There we go. It says right on the picture. I should have known. This is I don't know what this picture was. Doesn't matter. He's got a truck full of sleds. I love it. That's living the life right there.
Yeah.
There's an old Rev.
Yeah. 04 or 5, something like that.
Yeah, sweet.
It's a
look at
classic
that
shot
setup.
as well.
Now we're talking. Look at that iron.
That's cool. Yeah, we need that at Grizzly Lodge.
Wisco's going to teach me how to pronounce Wisconsin.
Okay, a three-wheeler. Thought it was a lawnmower for a second. I used to race lawnmowers, so my mind went there right away.
Oh, do we lose Gary's sound again?
Oh, again. That's too bad. I thought I'd be the guy having issues with it this far out.
What's cooking at the lodge today? You got burgers going to show up there?
Oh, I ate my last burger last night.
I can't wait for burgers. I
should
asked
be back now.
All right.
Back.
We were just talking about the dinner menu for our trip at Grizzly. There's like 2 Garys on the screen.
Hold on, I just got to shut that camera off.
Okay.
I'm telling you, this whole platform is horrible. Oh,
it's a lot of technology, buddy.
No. Keep it rolling.
It's like it's behind everything, and it doesn't know what to do. Listen, we had trouble last week though as well.
That's a nice deep picture right there too. Look at that guy.
Nothing like that when you step off your sled and you're looking at the skis.
So good. Looks like you're head of Mud Brats now.
Yeah, looks like I'm hosting now. So, yeah, not sure where we're going from here. I don't have any photos I can display aside from what we're looking at right now.
Oh, it looks lonely at the lodge. Can't wait to get there.
Quiet's nice. The storm is coming, Dave.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait. I can't wait.
I figured it was appropriate to be sitting at the bar here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There we go. Am I back?
You are back.
You're back.
I am?
Back in black.
I don't know. You think I'd do this for a living or something?
Hey, there's
Mike Gooley's he gives us a $20 super chat there for a new sound, for a new system. I don't blame him. It's horrible. They did it. Last week was even worse, if you can believe it. Last week's was even worse. So this is Jinxie Boy. Well, actually, that was Kirk. I was asking if you knew who that guy was. That guy there. Norona.
That's awesome.
That's Kirk Hastings from Snow Escapes. He was enjoying snow cane at the Grizzly Lodge, January 2020.
Nice. Great shot.
Yeah.
He's up to his shoulders. Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
BC
Wisco
style.
Sledheads. Wisco Sledheads got $1.99 for a new platform donation there. Hey, I'm almost enough to start looking for plane tickets out to Grizzly Lodge now.
That's great.
That's great. So that's Kirk. He's Snow Cane. And then Jinxie Boy says, hey, Gary, your audio sucks. I know. Here's a photo of the race sled for this year's Nutcracker, and the shop is coming together, he says. Yeah, that shop's pretty sick, Jinxie.
Yeah.
Jinxie's it's probably bath time. And I didn't even get a chance to change the content on the TV, but that looks like it's Married with Children if I've ever seen it. No, what was the show you were saying? Norona? You had another.
He's mad about you?
Mad about you. He's watching Mad About You. Yeah. So, I don't know. Corey Brock gives me a $6.99. He says, hire an IT guy, Gary. LOL. Yeah. Oh, I know. It's embarrassing. All right. Now we're into the good stuff. Not that the other stuff wasn't
Theo
good.
and I.
Yeah. The full throttles are being poured.
That's a full throttle, and that's how big they are too, Gary. They're that big.
Now, someone asked, what is in a full throttle? That was earlier.
Everything that needs to be and nothing that doesn't.
Well, if I want to make full throttles at the lodge trip in February, will you send me the recipe? I promise to keep it a secret.
Well, maybe, but probably not. You can only have them at Grizzly Lodge. They don't make sense anywhere else.
Is that not even the Sportsman's Lodge? You've seen pictures of that place, right? John Miller says full throttle is the best drink on the menu. John Miller, you're gonna have to email me the recipe. He knows it. I know. It's green. What makes it green?
Awesome. That's what makes it green.
It's Arctic cat piss. Corey Brock says we're gonna make our own drink. Forget Grizzly Lodge.
You know, if you do create your own drink here, get the bartender to mix up something custom. If it's popular enough, there's been several that have stuck. The menu as they've stuck. So challenge is on.
Yeah. Scott Terry says, "Don't ask what's in the full throttle. You don't want to know."
Yeah, you don't want to know.
So I've got all these, Adam. I've got all these pictures, and Norona sent in, and they're very small on the screen because he shot them like a little girl doing TikToks with his camera.
I'm not
vertical.
on TikTok. I'm not cool enough for TikTok, but
yeah. Kirk and Penny's in the house. He says, "Can we please get an explanation from Dave Norona?"
Of what?
I don't know what he's talking about. 2-stroke oil, John Miller says, is one of the ingredients. I don't know. That's maybe the green. It's a diluted XPS, is it?
Yeah.
Grizzly Bear, cheers.
Hey, there's a good shot.
That's Cody McNulty's first time at Grizzly Lodge was this spring.
Yeah.
And he had a great time. His eyes were wide open. He couldn't believe it.
That's cool. This looks like a typical photo. I've seen lots of them on the website when I was checking out the place, and you see lots of snow and whiteness, and it's pretty epic out there.
When we put up that sign above the door there, the big red Grizzly Lodge sign with the logo, it became the centerpiece for just about every group that arrives here or leaves here. Everybody's got to take a picture in front of the lodge with the sign there. So it served us well.
That's
and
nice.
You'll notice the Skidoos get front row parking.
Well,
why wouldn't they? I don't even know why that's a point. Got some house cleaning to do here. We got Paul Farrell. He says $10 for new software. He loves the show. There was another one here I think I missed. Corey Brock, that was a $6.99. There's a $20 one here somewhere. Did we already cover that one? Mike Goulas for the new system, Gary. Here we go, Mountain Madman. There we go.
Compared to that sound.
I love that sound.
we take you to the mountains. You know, we take you to the mountains. I don't leave anybody at home, right? There we go. That's another nice shot from Dave Norona.
Yeah. Probably, yeah, that's probably a still. He's probably stuck there.
Could be, right? And he was going.
I'm still
going
pinning
like
it
this.
so you can see the RPM.
Yes, that's right. And you were going like this with snow around you to make it look dusty.
Exactly.
Right.
I will say that whole area around Grizzly Lodge, when you get some of the sweetest sunsets that you don't get typically as you move north into British Columbia, because the mountains get a little steeper. Like the mountains around you will be higher, and generally you can be deeper in them. So you do get, like, one thing is, say, Adam, is some of the sunsets when you come down at the end of the day, it'll stop you in your tracks.
Yeah, well, we're west of the Rockies, so we're not we're not in the deep valleys and whatnot. And the mountain range here, it's on its own. There's really no other big mountains around us aside from the 2 mountains that we ride here. So you're kind of up above all the valleys and whatnot. So sunsets are wicked.
And the picture that you're looking at on screen doesn't do it justice. You can see the sun just beaming through the trees here. Dave, how do you like that gauge in the mountains, man?
Oh, I love it. The new there's no doubt Polaris has done a great job with their gauge so that you can see your other riders for sure. But as I say, Skidoo will never, ever let Adam have that smile on his face with his new gauge without coming up with something even better.
Quick story about the gauge. When I was riding with Dave and Cody McNulty and that crew last year, when we, at the end of the day, when everybody's tired and it's time to go back to the cabin, they all look at me and go, "Well, you've got the GPS, you take us out." So that's where that stands.
Yeah, I don't have an answer, but you know what? The funny thing is and Adam knows this too, is what I think is so cool is the things that come at us in the snowmobile industry, hence this gauge, and how many people will be like, "Oh, I don't need that. I don't need to look at a big gauge." And I'll tell you, in 5 years, from the electric motorcycles from Can-Am to the side-by-sides and Sea-Doo, we'll all have a gauge like this, and you're going to love it, as will, all the other manufacturers. And it is like I say, I love having cell coverage. It doesn't mean you have to be on your phone. You can always turn it off.
Exactly.
So having technology, I think, is a great step forward. For the people who say, "Oh, I don't want technology in the backcountry," it's like, you just turn it off. That's I'm out on my boat all summer, and when I'm not on my phone when I'm out there, but if I need it, I'm glad I have it. And this is with satellite communicators, all these things. So the gauge is, Adam can tell you, and he is right. That new, where it shows where the riders are and the GPS and how you can breadcrumb back. It's just a necessity, because when we get to ride with Adam now and with Cody and our group, it's like herding cats. I mean, from the moment go, everybody's in a different direction. So it's kind of nice at the end of the day when we all look at each other like, which way do we go back? And we never want to follow our tracks back. That's like admitting defeat. So we always want to go back a different way. But yeah, I think the technology, I love it. And one of the things I said to myself when I, like 20 odd years ago, I've always, through racing, has always been lucky to be on the cutting edge. And sometimes I can even be resistant, but I said, I ask people to try all these things and whatever. And I have to try all these things too. So ever since that time, when things come at me, I just go, I'm going to try it. I mean, you can always turn around and not use it. But I think anything that's come at us from the snowmobile, I mean, just look at that, you look at the sleds from 20 years ago and you look at them now. It's just, I mean, we're driving around on supercars, right? Like hypercars now. The equivalent, right? The horsepower, power to weight ratio. It's just incredible.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's see where we ride now. Me myself and mostly Ontario, we do have cell coverage most places we go, or the map's pre-spooled up, like it'll be in its cache, right? So we can see where each other are on the BRP Go. Even last year on the 7.8 inch. So I'm really looking forward to the 10.25 inch gauge. I can't wait. It's going to be a game changer for sure. And I get that, like you said, Dave, where guys go, oh, I don't really need that. I like the old analog. Or I don't need any gauges. I don't have time to look at the gauges. It's like it's a different ride when you've got it.
Yeah, and I will say this to people, why the gauge of the Ski-Doo snowmobile is the way it is because the largest amount of usership is in Ontario, Quebec, Eastern United States, where there is trails. And the reason why we went, or Ski-Doo went with the way the gauge is that if there is a landowner who wants their trail shut down through their property, they can do that, and overnight, it is now shown on the mapping software. So it comes in on the BRP Go app, and it's instant. So you won't get somebody riding through there saying, "I didn't know." They instantly know, and it's accountability. And Ski-Doo is, as with all the other manufacturers, we want to ride where we're allowed to ride, and we do not want riders riding where they shouldn't ride or are not allowed to ride. And that's back east, as you know, that's the number one thing that's shutting areas down is riders going where they shouldn't be. And it doesn't take long to find them because we leave tracks. And so the whole idea behind that, the BRP Go app, and is to correct that and make it so that we can be accountable and responsible. And it will slowly move west. And I love what the gauge offers right now, but it will offer more for Western riders in the future. And that's the whole point behind it. It's the same with other manufacturers, and the gauge we're talking about with Adam is that, you might have thought I don't need that until you have it, and then once you have it, it's not like Adam's looking at it all the time, but when he needs it, the information's there, and that'll be the same as ours. I don't look at my gauge either until I need it, or if something's an issue, I look at my RPM, or I need to know my fuel, and then I'm ignoring it and riding is finding the deep snow that I want to find.
Yeah, no, that's cool. There's a nice shot of the now. Is that daytime mode that you're riding in there?
Yes,
Because I think the night mode would be a dark screen. So yeah, that's cool. It's pretty sweet. Look at that
I
shot
probably
there.
had it
That's
set to auto so that it
oh
adjusts.
yeah, okay. I like the dark mode. I like the night mode. It gives you more color.
Yeah, I feel like that. He's always changing my phone to the dark mode.
Nice. Yeah, for sure.
But one thing about Grizzly Lodge that's great is you can see that they've got some just awesome tree riding. You can get really tight trees, and then you can get these great areas where you're just, my favorite riding, like I like riding trees, but I like riding more open trees where you can keep your speed up and use them as sort of like a giant slalom course, I guess, right? You're going to get deeper trees down in these lower ravines and drainages, and as you get up, there's a lot of space in that subalpine around Grizzly that gives you some really, really cool, and you go through the area and then it tightens up and you sneak through one and all of a sudden it opens up on the other side and you're like, oh wow, no one's been in here, and you just keep doing that and doing that all day long, right?
Yeah, oh for sure. Looks like heaven, man. Now we're getting into the Grizzly Lodge photos. And Adam didn't send me pictures that were taken like a TikTok schoolgirl. He sends me ones I can put full screen.
He's big time and I'm little time. That's the difference.
No, it's good. I appreciate the photos you sent in. And Dave's been on the show. This is his third appearance in 3 years, and he shared lots of epic shots with us. So, all kidding aside, there's he's not the star tonight. Grizzly Lodge is. So
no, Grizzly Lodge is for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, this is good. Look at the air, the hang time here.
Yeah, just the snow, man, too good.
Oh yeah, for sure. Does the sleds that you rent come with shovels and all that kind of the pack on them?
Yeah, so when you basically when you book your package, we provide a backpack with a shovel pro beacon and a saw, because you should never be riding the backcountry without at least those basic items. I mean, yeah, especially a saw. I mean, besides your avalanche beacon and your shovel and probe, a saw is super handy. You don't want to be stuck out there with a saw, because lots of times you just get behind a little tree or something like that, and it can save your life basically to get you out. So, got to have the key essentials.
Absolutely. Good to know though, like you pack for everything.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's another
these
great.
spots. This is down in a little drainage. You know, you'd look down there and think, oh, there's no good riding, but you get down a little bit, and then the trees open up a bit, and the snow just blows into these smaller drainages. That just, you know, it'll be all wind scoured on the ridge, and then you get down below and stuff like this, and it just, oh, amazing.
Now, Adam, are you running a turbo on your Polaris, or are you naturally aspirated?
Oh, no, no, no. It's got to have boost. Now with the factory Polaris boost, it's fantastic. I have to give Skidoo props. I rode their boost the first year it came out, and I was fairly impressed. But this Polaris, she leaves the old dew in the dust. Pretty happy.
Whoa, whoa. He's gonna be shocked this year. I think he's gonna be pretty
Bring
shocked.
it on.
I was going to say to Dave, is his technology failing? Is he leaving the show now?
I think this year you might hear Adam start riding at 10 p.m. So nobody sees him to get some giggles from the 180 horsepower Ski-Doo Turbo R 850.
Nice.
Well, it's about time they caught up.
Does the guide help dig you out? Is the question Pat wants to know.
So here's the thing. Somebody asked earlier in the show about how do we get a job there and whatnot. If you're going to be a guide here, or a guide anywhere for that matter, you better be good at digging clients out, because that's 90% of your job. You get new guys in the mountains, they're going to be stuck a lot, and a good guide is on a ski tip pretty much all day, because they want their client out of the snow, back, surf and powder until they're stuck again. So yeah, if we have a guide that isn't pulling clients out, they're not a guide here for long, because that's number one. Keep the clients riding.
Nice.
Yeah, and Adam didn't say it, but guiding and riding are two very different things. And for the exact reason that he mentioned, if you think you're going to work at Grizzly Lodge and spend 10 hours a day riding and 2 hours a day working, yeah, you're probably not going to last very long. And that's like at any lodge. I mean, I don't guide, for the reason that one of my really good friends, Ray Mason, who I tail guided for a while, I saw what it's like to guide. It's a ton of work. You have to really know your clients. You like Adam said, you're digging, you're getting people in, you're responsible for people and to make sure they have a good time and that they're safe and all that. It's an amazing job, and the people who do it well. So yeah, it's not just as simple as like showing. And again, it's not like you're guiding pros around. You're guiding, everybody around at different abilities.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a ton of fun, but see, there's a shot, what Dave was kind of talking about, just that subalpine, surfing through the trees there. That's a sweet shot.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
How do you know where to go and where not to go? Because imagine there's rock buried in here and things like that. Like how do you
some of that just comes with time, and the longer you ride in the mountains, you start to get a sense and feel for, typically on the as you come up to the top of a ridge, that's where the wind's going to be scouring that from any direction, because wind changes a lot. So I'm always super careful coming up onto the top of ridges, never dipping a ski in too far, because typically that's where you'll have rocks exposed. and then as far as, places not to go, just reading terrain. That's why if you haven't ridden the mountain before, a guide is super important. But even if you have, just reading terrain and recognizing, if I go down this and I don't know what's at the bottom, is there a way out? You got to be pretty smart about making those decisions, because lots of times guys get themselves in trouble. They'll go down a drainage and they can't ride their sled back out. The sled might be capable, but the rider isn't. So just takes time, and ride with other more experienced riders. That's how you get better and learn your terrain.
So in this case here, where you see a group of, it looks like 6 snowmobiles, would the guide stop and go, okay, guys, like it looks like there's a dip behind me right here, actually, in the photo.
Yeah.
I'd love to go down in there, but I know I'm not coming back out, right?
Right. So typically, every operation runs their guides maybe slightly different, but generally speaking, is what our guides will do is we'll go up to an area and we'll say, okay, hey, this is home base. This is where, if you're done riding or you want to take a break or we're all going to move on, we all meet back here. And the guide will say, okay, we're going to ride this general area here to that ridge, to this little hump behind me. Don't go down there. And, we'll ride there for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, maybe 2 hours, depending on how much snow is there and how everybody's doing. And then we'll move along to a new spot and go, okay, here's the new home base. This is where we all meet. And you can ride as far as that over there or this over here. And don't go down over there. There's a cliff or there's a avalanche zone over here we're going to stay out of. So a good guide will always, each new spot they go to, will stop and give the clients the, hey, here's where it's safe. Here's where I don't want you to go. And here's home base, because it's super important to have a spot where guys can go back to if they're looking for you or just want to stop.
That's a great idea, actually. And then if anyone's missing from the pack too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, the terrain also, it's sort of like, it's kind of like a fence line, right? Like you can look at the terrain and go, most people will go, yeah, I probably shouldn't go down there. But you have a pretty wide berth in and around there. And that's, like, one of the great things about Grizzly is it has all these kind of little secret zones that you have to kind of sneak down into. And you don't, like, it's easy to say, oh, there's nothing down there. But that's what
we usually say. No,
Yeah.
there's nothing down there.
Yeah, but then when you go down there, and that isn't where someone new should be going, because they're not going to want to go down there. But once you kind of find these areas, like as Adam said, the snow pockets, like up top here, the wind will come across with a storm. So on the way out, a lot of that snow at the top will be windblown. And there will be,
right.
Like, there's lots of times when we're there and it'll be a super deep day. Like I'm talking 3 feet, 4 feet down in the trees. But up top, you got to kind of be careful because the wind blown and there's rocks exposed and whatever. But that's not where you want to ride anyway. It's windy up there. You want to be down in the soft snow in the trees. And so it again, what's great about the mountains is every day is different. And it takes, there's a certain skill level that you have to learn. And the only way to do it is by learning. So unfortunately, our sport is very ego driven. So it comes down as who's the best and can do what. And I'm come from the complete opposite of that, is that, look, this is about fun. And so getting into these zones and having fun, it isn't fun if you're the riding's way above your skill level, because you're just scared. You're scared of the machine. You're scared of what could happen to you in the machine. And what's great about Grizzly Lodge and the area around it is you can be a total beginner and have an amazing day. And you can be, one of the best sledders and have an amazing day. So there's something there for everybody. And, really there's a lot of places like that throughout BC. But again, having a guide, they're going to match the terrain to you. And if you want to push it on a certain day, you can. And, but it really, that's the beauty of it. And if like Adam said, if you come to Grizzly Lodge and you're honest and you say, look, this is what we've ridden. We ride a lot, but we've never ridden in the mountains. You're actually being honest with the guide, and they're going to take you to an area. And you know what? The worst is if he makes it too easy or she makes it too easy for you, you're just going to move to a next harder area, and you're never going to reach the limit. So that's the great part of it. And to me, for us, when we go there, we have a lot of great riders in our group. And at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with how good you are on a sled. It's about going back and talking about your day and having a great meal and having drinks, playing pool, and all the tomfoolery that goes on in the lodge. I mean, you know, this is what BC is best known for. And I'll give you an example. Is I did a clinic in Fernie one year. So we stayed at Grizzly Lodge and we went on to Fernie. And I remember I got in, it was like the worst snowstorm I had driven through to get to Fernie. It took me 10 hours from Grizzly Lodge, which is like double the time it should take. It was like just the brutalest snowstorm. And I signed in, and the guy goes, "Oh, you can come in through the back way." So I came through with all my gear after driving 10 hours. It's like 8:30 at night. We're going to guide in the morning. And I come through, I open up the fence, and it's the back way into the hot tub. And there must be 40 people in that hot tub drinking beers after a good day on the snow. And because I'm short, people remember who I am. So they all yelled my name. And it was hard not to just pile drive right into the hot tub with them. And to me, those are the people of our sport, the people that they work all week. And you know what? It's easy for them to sit at home on the weekend, but they don't. They get in their trucks and their trailers and they drive to the mountains and they have fun. And this is what the clientele you get at Grizzly Lodge. They come from Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC, Washington, Montana. They fly from out east. And the quality of people that do that, it's just, you're talking about a high quality of like adrenaline junkie. And I don't mean that in the like extreme, they're trying to jump off cliffs. I mean that they are passionate about life. And that, this is like why Adam and his staff are the way, you have to be for what they do. And I know what they do. I've been there for very long. All of them are dear friends of mine. For what they do day in and day out, looking after people, you're just not doing that unless you're passionate about it, right? Like you're not riding a snowmobile unless you're passionate. There's a million reasons not to ride one. The cost, the time, the effort. There's family, pulling you one way. There's a job pulling you another way. That's what makes this sport like no other. You have a choice, and the people that make the choice on that side are all kind of cut from the same cloth. We're just ambitious, passion-seeking people, and it's really fun to hang out with those type of people. And it's why I'm so lucky I get to do what I do. Is you're around those people all the time, and they're passion-driven. And this is what we're talking about. If you're passion-driven, this is one place you have to put on your bucket list because you've met your match. This is it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. This is extreme. This is awesome.
Yeah, that was I think Dave maybe in February captured that shot of Taylor doing a kind of an airborne type re-entry move, one of Taylor's signature moves, you might say. When I'm taking photos, I love getting a photo with a sweet backdrop, and that one does fairly good justice. For sure. The close-up photos are great, but I like seeing the background. Man, look at that blue sky there.
Those clouds look lower than him. Yeah.
You can't tell from this photo, but Taylor's wearing his cowboy boots. Yeah. She wears everywhere.
Serious? Are you serious? That's crazy.
He takes the inserts out of his snowmobile boots and he wears his cowboy boots in his
out of his helmet there. I guess not quite.
And definitely he's got jeans underneath that and a belt buckle.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sweet. Flatland Freerider says that's what a day of being guided by Taylor looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. You watch Taylor do that all day long.
That's cool.
Yeah. What Adam's talking about too is when we're talking about weather. These are the days where it's not bluebird, but it's almost better because you get that definition. And you get the definition in the snow and you get the definition in the sky with the clouds and the sun. And, this is after a big dump and then it got sunny.
Yeah.
That cloud right there is 9 feet off the mountain. 9 feet. Like that's crazy. He's in the clouds. I love it.
Yeah, great
That's
shot.
just epic. Look at this too. Wow.
Yeah, there's so many cool little features. Little rock outcroppings with a big drift on top that you can launch off of. Yeah, it's a really playful area. I mean, there are some zones I guess we stay out of when avalanche conditions are nasty, but by and large, I mean, you can ride all day in safe terrain here without having to worry about getting yourself into trouble. Just so many fun little features.
Yeah, I love that. I do that by mistake. Fly over my buddy's sled.
There's a spot that's looking east to the Rockies.
Sweet. Did we lose sound again?
No,
No,
we're
still there. Yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. This is the world's smallest swimming pool.
Yeah, that's that's for sure. After a day of sledding, guys will typically pre-book their massage and then hit the hot tub. So good thing to do. Pre-book your massage, or at least book it once you get here, and then you can enjoy a hot tub and a sauna and some good food, and you're out for the night, unless you have too many full throttles.
Oh, that'd be just wicked, man. Look at that. That is a hot tub. It's so clean, and like every shot, I just got a comment on that. It's like every shot of the lodge is spotless. Like, nice work. Like, look at behind you, the floors, you could eat off them. I'm sure Norona has.
Well, one thing I'll say too on that is that Adam hasn't sit on his hands here. Every summer, something gets done at Grizzly Lodge. So, when I first started going there, it was just a small hot tub outside on a wood deck, and now and Theo App goes up every summer, and this year he drywalled. They redid the bottom floors, right? All the drywall, and like it just seriously, again, the passion. What you're seeing is passion. This is not like, hey, we can sit back and just like take time every year. And Adam's got a lot of plans. Like, they never seem to end. Again, he's a typical BC boy that likes to work hard, and he's put his life and everybody who works there, like it really shows. They put everything into it. That's why the staff that comes back and people recognize them, it's because they have a passion for this, and it's hard to find in other places. But this is just one of those things that what you're witnessing. So you're true of what you're seeing, Gary, because it's and I've seen it from going to other places, but also what here is I'm always blown away every year I come in, right? And it's cool, and it's a great place to hang out. Like, now you know why it's okay to come back at 2 p.m. on a hard day of riding and sit in the hot tub, because you're there before everybody else.
There's no judgment, I mean, in fact, if we got time, there's a group that comes out of Edson, Alberta there, and I think they've been coming 7, 8, 9 years in a row, something like that. And I said, like, my goodness, guys, you must be tired of us by now. And they're like, honestly, this is our like Mexico. This is our like, we look forward to this every year. We just come, the sledding, the snow, whatever. It wasn't great this year. Who cares? Like, it's just so cool to see that people are coming here now after being here so many times, and they're going, yeah, we rode our sleds here. If the snow is great, awesome, but it really doesn't matter. And that's been really cool to see that it's become more than snowmobiling, which is really good when you don't have great snow, because that happens sometimes. But it's pretty cool to see how people value their time here.
Very cool. Beautiful lodge. Look at all the sleds covered in snow.
Yeah, that's a nice spring shot. Probably March. March is really cool, and even into April, where you'll get 6 inches of snow overnight, and then it's sunny in the morning, and then you'll get another 4 or 5 inches of snow overnight, and it's sunny in the morning. You get those really short cycles. Awesome.
Sweet. Now, we were talking off air, and you said you've actually been riding already. Tell the folks how much snow you've got out there already.
Yeah. So we were out on the 9th, I believe it was, of November here. There was about 14 inches here at the lodge. So we snuck up top and there was about 2 feet. So it was pretty, what we call pretty lean to be riding the mountains, but still great. You know, you get up there and it was a beautiful bluebird day. I think we posted a little video on Instagram there. We need some more, but just to get up there, and it just brings back all the like, oh, we're so jacked to ride. So yeah, snow looks like another week before we see some more snow coming, but it always comes. You always feel like when it's sunny for a week, it'll never happen, but it never fails. It comes.
Yeah. Corey Brock asked, what is the average snowfall that you get a year?
So I'll speak to that in snowpack per se. On a good year up in the subalpine and alpine, we'll have 12 feet of snow. That's compacted, you know, snow accumulated over the whole season. I've seen as much as, 14, 15 feet of snow up there. And then at the lodge elevation, you're about 1,500, 1,800 feet lower. We'll have 6 or 7 feet there at the lodge.
Sweet.
Like there's a lot of snow. Doesn't mean you still can't find rocks, because you get up there in the summertime and you look around and you go, I cannot believe we ride some of this terrain, because you see the massive boulders and cliffs and stuff, and yet it fills in. It's such a different world in the wintertime.
I hate to be the guy, but our trails are like that around here too. I showed Corey one section of trail and it's like a carpet in the wintertime, and we were on the ATVs and it's just gnarly. But I mean, it's going to be worse where you are. I'm not saying that it's worse where we are, but I encourage everyone to go out and help stake trails or do whatever to volunteer with a club, because you'll get a new appreciation of what it looks like before the white stuff falls. The other question I had for you is that one photo where it showed the 6 snowmobilers in the little tree zone there. There wasn't one other snowmobile track there. Is it something where you get fresh snowfall every night, or does wind sweep that daily, so it looks like uncharted territory?
It certainly don't get snow every night. That would be a dream, right? I mean, often, we hope we get fresh snow every week, but sometimes you'll get a dry spell where it won't snow for 3 weeks. And then you're going further each day looking for fresh tracks. And fortunately, we got a lot of space here. And even after a couple of weeks of no snow, we can find good snow typically. But wind, yes. Sometimes you'll get a storm that comes through, mostly just wind and maybe a little bit of snow, and it makes everything look untouched again. And it can be good in that it'll even if it doesn't snow much, it'll carry snow from here and dump it into the lower areas where we like to ride. And it can help, or sometimes it just sweeps all the snow off the areas you do want to ride, and you're kind of left with what's hard pack and whatnot. But it just depends on what's going on with the weather.
All Terrain TV asks, is it true that if you step off your sled in spots, you disappear?
It is true, but rarely. We don't get quite the same kind of snow as Revelstoke gets. Over there, it's probably more common where you can step off your sled and be right up to your head. I've experienced that a couple times here, but if you step off your sled anywhere in a wrong spot, like right beside a tree well or something like that, yeah, you can disappear here or anywhere. You get these air pockets in the snow where even the smaller trees, you might not even see a divot there or anything, but if there's a small tree under there, there's a lot of air, and you can go in right to your armpits.
Sweet.
I will say, Gary, one of the biggest things I guess people will say is, "Oh, I hope we get good snow." And I've been, I tend to be a little bit spoiled, so I've been like that before too. Like, oh, okay, if it's not deep, I'm a little more disappointed. And then it really matters who you're there with. So we have a guy in our group, his name's Pat, and he's an awesome sledder, but he's just an awesome guy. And he'll take us on adventures that you just go down deeper and you get into zones, and it becomes this sort of like you're getting it's about the adventure of the day, and it changes your attitude, right? And this is like you have to have this kind of attitude when you go to any place that you can kind of give up. And we've gone to Grizzly Lodge and had we typically go in early December, so we've had epic conditions, and we've also had conditions that were like not that deep. And we would go on these wicked adventures. And one of the days we might go out for a ride, and then we build we have a big fire in the backcountry. And there's so many things that you can do to sort of make your day. And really, again, it comes down to the group you're with and that you make your day, right? It's not just always sunshine and rainbows and deep pow in BC, although a lot of we get that. But you might not get that on your trip. Don't let that bring you down, because there's a lot of terrain. We've gone in there, Theo and I, when it was like 3 weeks, no snow. And we just went back and back and back. And by, 3/4 of the way through our day, we came to this zone, and we rode there till it was dark because it was so epic. And we were way out there, but boy, did we come back just giggling like little kids, and just, oh, where were you guys? Oh, we were we don't even know. And it just, again, that's part of the fun, right? It's like, it's no different than trail riding. Is you can stay close to home in the cabin, or you can take that trail that goes right that no one took before. And sometimes it doesn't pay off, and sometimes it pays off. And that's, why I love about snowmobiling. It's a big adventure, and you got all day to adventure. And sometimes our best days have been going back and having a backcountry fire, and you're talking with your buds, and you're out on the mountain, and what's better?
Oh yeah. Love it. This is a steep side hill here you're on.
Yeah, this is the kind of terrain I really enjoy. Is just it's got to be steep. It's got to have trees where the consequences are high. It makes you a better rider, because if you screw up, you're probably going to break something. But the more you ride in it, the more comfortable you become. And it just, as I was saying earlier, the better snowmobiler you become, the more fun you have in different terrain. I have just as much fun as an experienced sledder today as I did when I was not a great sledder. It's just I'm riding different terrain, and that's what's so fun about the sport. Is it's the fun factor is there in the beginning and right up to the most professional snowmobilers. It's so you change your terrain, and meanwhile, probably 300 feet below this is a lake where the beginners are bombing around doing powder turns, right?
Oh, that's sweet. William McCleary, I love comments like this. This is mighty interesting. Makes me want to plan a trip out there. Bucket list item. Love it. That's what it's about.
That's shot in our shop down in the basement. All the rental sleds are in and out of there constantly, getting checklists done on them, servicing, fixing, bent bumpers, this and that. We just put in that sweet flooring last year, race deck flooring, and it's so great. Traction. Very cool. Sleds to grip to go in and out, and you're just up off the floor. I think it's about 3/8 to 1/2 inch thick, so you're not standing in puddles of water at all. It's fantastic stuff, and it looks pretty cool too.
Love that. So your rental fleet, is it all Chaos?
No, we typically have kind of a split of Chaos 155s and Pro 165s. They do make a Chaos 165. I think we have 1 or 2 of those in the fleet. But yeah, a bit of a split. The Chaos is a little more fun if your snow isn't quite as deep and you're not looking to really go up really steep stuff, because it likes to wheelie a little more. It's a bit more playful, whereas the Pro is a little more built for your really steep and deep, so your front end stays down a little bit easier. But both great sleds, lots of fun.
For sure.
And we've been trying to get some Ski-Doo sleds in there for years and years. But
yeah,
you've never given up.
You think he'd know a guy, right, Norona?
I never say never, but not yet. Now, this Traeger, a shout out to Traeger Grills. They hooked us up, I guess it was last year or the year before, with this wicked Traeger. They sent us that whole unit for nothing with a bunch of pellets and all kinds of gear. And we've really been enjoying the chefs smoking all kinds of stuff on there. It's a big, big hit. You get smoked brisket here occasionally, and to die for.
Sweet. I see a groomer in the background there too. What do you typically use that for?
So you're from where the people that are not stay and ride package people that are bringing their own sleds and traveling, say from Alberta or somewhere in BC here. Our staging area, as we call it, where you would park your truck and trailer to the lodge, is about 25K. So we regularly groom that trail from the staging area into the lodge. And then there's a short section from the lodge up to the subalpine, about 3 or 4K, that we also groom. Because within 3-4 days, trail's pretty rough and it sucks coming in and out on that stuff. So the groomer's working pretty steady every week.
That's pretty cool. Look at that.
Oh yeah, sick.
Looks like dinner fit for Norona.
just one of those. Yeah. Just a big brisket in there. Love it.
Brisket's so good.
Yeah. Oh geez, I want to go.
I like this shot. This one's taken a couple years ago, but so that shot's pulled in a bit. Where the sleds in the photo there are on what we call Pukiashin Mountain. That's the main big mountain, but that's looking across to the east to Lichen Mountain on the other side of the valley, and it's just all the tree runs directly in front of the sleds there that you can ride down. It's fairly open at the top, and the further you go down, the trees get a little closer, but the snow blows in there, and you just surf your way down, move over 50 feet, surf your way back up. Just fabulous terrain in there.
Sounds awesome. This is what you're talking about, coming down.
Yeah, exactly.
Carving down the deep powder. I love it.
Oh yeah.
Now, do you guys know from being there in the summer that there's nothing buried in here, or you just, we'll take a shot at it?
Yeah, I mean, depending on where that is on the mountain, I don't, that could be one of a million places on the mountain here. But, if that was December, we'd probably be being pretty careful. By the time you get into February or even mid-January, you typically can be pretty confident you're going to be okay, unless you're seeing some lumps in the snow. And then you got to be a little bit careful. But yeah, you get into your season a bit and you know your terrain, and away you go.
Love it. Another airtime.
Yeah, that's Christian, one of our guides. That was spring day with clients. I was riding along that day just for the heck of it, and brought the camera along, see if we could snap a few shots. And this one turned out really good. Love that one.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
Nice tight shot there. Lots of tree riding like that. Just it's fantastic.
Steep, deep, and lots of trees. Pretty crazy.
So then, the other side of that is there is some wide open, next to no trees terrain like that, which we ride occasionally, and especially with a, you got a brand new group who has never ridden the mountains before. We'll start in an area, something like that. Just get used to the sled a bit. You're not trying to navigate the trees. You can surf around a bit, get the feel for things, and then maybe drop a little bit lower into, a little more challenging terrain. But there's, it's kind of all here.
Yeah, it's sweet. Like wide open, vast terrain there. And the snowmobiles in this shot look like little ants.
Yeah.
There's another one where you can see for a mile. I think I can see my house back there.
Yeah. That's fabulous.
Yeah, that's a great shot. So how do you have a limit of where you can ride? I know I think that's one thing that Dave was working towards. Like, there's areas that I know some places they're trying to keep snowmobilers out of. Is it fairly open where you are, or is there limitations where there's no-go zones?
Yeah, fortunately for us, is so far the Caribou closure areas that are kind of off to our north and east don't reach into our terrain here. So we don't have any direct Caribou closure orders, which we're hoping stays that way. But time will only tell, I guess. The majority of what's around us is rideable, with the exception of places that just you can't physically get a snowmobile. But as far as being closed areas, we don't have any closed areas right immediately around us here, fortunately. A good shot there. Lots of treed area in the background.
Yeah, that's sweet. Another nice day.
Yeah. Big meadow.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So like this would be another example of you're new to the mountains. We'll put you in an area like this where the bottom is reasonably flat. You can surf around, and then as you get comfortable, you can ride up the edges, play in the trees a little bit there, get a feeling for some side hilling and navigating the trees. But just a totally safe area there with lots of options to challenge yourself as you feel. Taylor Anderson trying an airborne reentry. Looks good.
Yeah, that's really sweet. These are magazine quality shots we're looking at here.
Yeah, we try to snap a few. It's funny, you go out and you think your half a dozen shots you got are going to be killer, and you get back and review them and they're not. And then sometimes you go out and you don't expect to get anything, and you end up with shots like this. Dave, did we lose you? I can't hear you.
No, he's just being quiet.
Enjoying the photos.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying the photos. And
yeah.
This little zone back here, we get asked about a lot, and it's kind of further back on the mountain. But everybody that sees this little bull always asks to go there, but not everybody gets there because it's way in the back there. But pretty cool little spot.
Yeah, that's really neat. I love how high that is. Like, again, the guy in the foreground's fairly large, and you see the snowmobiles coming down that mountain, and they're like little ants.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Good rush coming down those hills like that.
So I guess they're all staying on the same track because they figured that guy didn't hit anything. We should be okay.
That's kind of the fall line in that bowl there. I mean, if you took your hands off the bars, that would probably be the track it takes. So usually,
okay.
First track down, most people just kind of go with the fall line unless they can't.
Oh, and that's my shot there. So that's all the shots you sent in there. That's pretty cool. No, we had that was a good tour of the terrain and showing the possibilities out there at Grizzly Mountain Lodge. Love it.
Give you an idea of what it looks like a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, I gotta pull that that thing off of it's hiding Dave down there in the bottom. But no. So how do people get a hold of you or follow you? Just give a plug to some of your website, your social media channels, and that kind of thing.
So website, www.grizzlylodge.ca, Instagram at Grizzly Lodge, and same on Facebook at Grizzly Lodge. And then it's Pukeashin Mountain after that. It'll pop right up. Those are the main channels we're engaged in. Lots of stuff on Instagram, and that's also fed onto our website. So if you don't have Instagram, you just go on the website, and there's a live bar there, so you can view all that stuff there. Yeah, we don't do a YouTube channel. We rely on Dave for that. some of his content.
I
But
don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
yeah, hard to say. And then on our website, there's a booking inquiry form. You can just fill it out there, send that in. Tom gets that in the office, and that connects you with us as far as if you want to get booked in. There's still a few stay and ride package spots available. There's not a lot left, but there's a few I see still on the calendar. So if this is a year, make it happen. We'll be here.
That's awesome. Typically, when do you fill up? Is it this month and you're good for the season, or do you have to book usually a year in advance?
Yeah, so I'm going to say 60 to 70% of clientele that come rebook within a week of their departure. So we're typically by springtime we're in that 70 to 80% booked range. And then what we do is we'll hold some stay and ride package spots so that when we go to the Toronto show or we start kind of pushing our marketing in the fall, that we actually have space available for people that want to fly in and do the full package deal, basically. So there's still a few of those open. If they don't fill, then occasionally we'll open that up to just general bookings and fill them, because there's a waiting list. I think there's 150 people on the waiting list for different dates throughout the season. So we typically run at pretty near capacity our whole season, which is fantastic. It's great. It's rev limiter every day.
That's excellent. Now, there's a question: do you have to sign a waiver? But I also have another question: is if you're a flat lander here out east and you've got all your gear for trail riding, your super warm suit, your super warm boots, your oxygen helmet, what happens when we go out there? Do you supply gear, or do you do we have to go out and buy it before we leave?
Right. So two-part question. Waivers, absolutely yes. Our insurance company requires all our clients to sign waivers. That's pretty standard. And then there's a separate waiver for your sled as well. When it comes to gear, understandably, the gear that you would wear out east on the trails doing 100 miles an hour at minus 20 or 30, not going to be suitable here. We occasionally guys try that, and within 15 minutes or less of riding, you're just like dripping in sweat. You can't breathe. It's too hot. So you definitely want some lighter gear. We do have rental gear available. So if you give us enough notice, we'll make sure we have your sizes, and that's boots, pants, jacket, helmet comes with your rental anyway, so there's no worries there. And then as far as like gloves and goggles, stuff like that, those are obviously can transfer mountains to trails. The gloves, maybe you want to run something a little bit lighter here, and we've got a store here at the lodge with all kinds of FXR gloves, 2B gloves. There's goggles. You pretty much can gear up on that end of things once you're here. But boots, pants, jacket, we can certainly hook you up with that.
Sweet, that's good to know. These are all questions that's on my mind, right?
Yeah, and do your homework too, right? Before you come. Like when you talk about a bucket list trip, it really becomes like if I'm going to do a trip, I want to look into the gear that I'm going to need and what I need and don't need, so you can be as late as possible coming in and out. And a lot of that gear, like your long underwear you can wear, but you're just looking at a shell pants and jacket versus a heavyweight windproof thick piece of material that you're going to use on the trails more. And make sure you have that gear and you spend the time. And it would be a bummer for everybody if you came out and you had that heavy gear and you just weren't enjoying yourself because of that. So it's great they have rental gear, but it's not going to be your last trip to the mountains once you make one trip. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm sure that.
It might be that you just rent this time and then you look into the right gear. I mean, the great part of going to a place like Grizzly is that you're going to go from zero to hero pretty quick. You're going to learn all the ins and outs, and you're going to go home with a lot of knowledge of stuff that you probably, even just doing the Abby talk in the morning and learning the gear, you'll go home and go, this is the shovel I need, this is the probe I need, this is the beacon I'm going to have, and then I'm going to have the gear, and I hop on the plane with it, and I I go riding, and when I'm back home, I, use the gear that I have for that.
Yeah, that's true, right? You'd get hooked on it, I'm sure. And before you know it, you'd accumulate the gear you need.
Yeah, I think it was, one of the guys that wrote in, Adam, who's, first year was a bucket list, and he's been back every year since, right? So
Yeah.
that's pretty typical from what I see when I do shows at Heydays and people out east. Is they love the mountains, they love where they live, and they have no problem flying out and renting all the gear, and it's the most cost effective way to do it, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listen, I won't keep you guys much longer. We have thanks for the info on Grizzly Mountain Lodge, Scott Terry says with a thumbs up, and Joe Caraco 422 gives us a big peace sign. Bobby O want to know what night is the bottomless full throttle night, LOL, and Flatland Free Rider says every night.
That's some pretty big talk there, bottomless.
Gooley says great show.
We've seen a lot of big talk. We've seen a lot of big talk, but at the bar, it's a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah, great show. Good night, guys. Gooley says thanks, Dave, Adam, and Gary for a great show. Renegade X. Wisco Silhead said brap and tips up. He gives us a whole tips up. So if you have anything else you wanted to throw in there as a parting words, Adam?
Yeah, I appreciate the time getting on the show here and probably getting some exposure to some people that haven't heard about the lodge here. As we've kind of been discussing, we love seeing new people to the mountains. It really is cool for the staff. It energizes us. It drives us. So hopefully you can get out here, and we'd love to have you.
Oh, that's great. No, that's perfect. Yeah, we got a lot. I'm just showing up on screen here, all the great comments. And thank you everybody for watching. It was a strong show tonight. Thank you for co-hosting, Dave Norona. You were awesome, funny as usual. You're one of my favorite guys to chat with. And that doesn't change. Neil Owen says he really loved learning more from Adam, Dave, and Gary. So yeah, it was a great show. Thank you both so much.
Well, I want to say a huge thank you to you, Gary, for the show you do. And it was great to see you in Toronto, because we don't get to see each other that often. But I love what you're doing and the passion that you exude from your show and all the riders. I think it's what keeps me in I'm lucky to get to do what I do, and I'm very lucky and honored to go to Grizzly Lodge and all these places. Yeah, thanks to everybody. I hope everybody has a wicked season. It's what we all live for, right? Is snow and fast sleds and deep pow and everything in between. So yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for Adam allowing me to talk a little bit about why I'm so enamored with Grizzly Lodge, and it really is. This isn't to stoke anyone's fire, other than to remind people that life is short. Get out there and try something new. And you see all the photos and the videos. It isn't made up. It really, when you go, you're going to, you'll be more blown away than in real life than you definitely will be from photos and videos. That's how much it is. So yeah. And I can't wait to be at Grizzly Lodge. I'm going to be there in less than a month.
That's awesome. I'd be crawling up the wall knowing something like that.
Liquor cabinet, Adam? You got the lock on the liquor cabinet?
Liquor cabinet stocked but locked.
Yeah. Extra chlorine for the hot tub after Norona leaves, right? I just want to be out there when Dave's bussing tables. That I gotta see. That
we try to keep that off the videos.
That's right, exactly. Okay, I'm going to roll the credits now, guys. Thank you so much. That was a great show. I'm still laughing inside. So cheers, and thank you, everybody, for tuning in, watching, and filling up the live chat with lots of comedic information there. And if you're watching the replay, you can always, below the window, you minimize your YouTube window, there's a live chat plus button. If you hit that, you'll see the chat from tonight. And it's always a hoot to read it. So sometimes it's PG, sometimes it's not. So We always have a good time. Thanks again, and we'll see everybody next Monday with Chris from Fast Track's going to be on. So we'll see you guys then.
See you guys later. Thank you.
It's a journey.